Hey everyone, it's your homeboy, your guy, the man with the plan, the kid next door, and so much more, Zukashi King. But in this video, you can just call me Jaren. So this is my last final episode of A Boy with a Mind of His Own. This web series has been a pleasure to make, to actually talk about my life story and how I grew up, how I came to this, how a lot of my life was filled with dramatic stuff, but how I grew from that. And today, yes, people, like I said a few months ago, this would be the last episode of season 1. I don't know if I'll come with a season 2, but hey, who knows? Go through enough stuff and I'll probably do it, but it may take a while. But yeah, this is the season finale of A Boy with a Mind of His Own, episode season 1. So without further ado, let's get into it. So in the last episode, I went from age 18 to 22. So today we will be discussing ages 23 to 25, which is where I'm at right now. Am I? No, age 26. Okay. Yeah, I actually got confused there. I keep forgetting my age for some reason. Anyways, we are going from age 23 to 26, which is the age I am at now. So, the age I finally landed on. So, anyways, so like I said, a lot of shit happened when I was at age 22, and a lot of stuff happened, like jail for the first time, all that. Age 23 was really no better because it was, well, I didn't get sent to jail, but age 23 was at that point where my life was taking a turn for the worse, for the absolute worst. But in the same aspect, it actually took a turn for the best too. So yeah, age 23 actually had its rough start, but then something changed at age 23. So at 23, I was moved to a new house, which I am currently still under the living at, well, not the house, but the program itself, the transitional program itself. Yeah, I was moved to a transitional home, which is basically a home for adults who are trying to get out there on their own. So it's not a group home, like you're forced to follow rules. It's a home where you can be yourself, get a job, go to school or whatever, and do your thing. Just be free, basically. Have your own, basically your own life. Unlike in a group home where you're like forced to do this and forced to do that, or no game. But yeah, I moved to a transitional home when I was 23, and for the first few months things went well, but by the next few months, rest of the months, things turned out bad. My aggression kicked in. A lot of stuff happened that caused my aggression to kick in more, and to the point where it almost tragically ruined my life again. So at age 23, I got into, my aggression put me in some place and it caused me to do something I really don't think I should go into detail in, but let's just say it was worthy enough to get me into jail, and it had something to do with aggression, had something to do with fighting someone, but I'm not going to go into more details because this is a wholesome channel, and I'm not going to release too much stuff that, but it is a wholesome channel, so I'm just going to leave it at that. But yeah, I could have gone to jail after this incident, but instead, when the police were called, no one came. So my dad actually picked me up and brought me home brought me to his home with my mom, my siblings, and with siblings that were living there, and my nephew and niece. So yeah, basically, as I was I moved back with my parents for a bit, and at first things were kind of rough. Like, basically, I was still getting to the point where I was like, I don't want to listen to rules. I don't want to listen to authority. I don't want to have all this drama following me everywhere. I don't want to have to live under people's guidelines. So my parents and I, especially my mom and I, we butt heads at points when I was living with them. And it got to the point where I just had to get away. I literally walked off out of my parents' neighborhood into another neighborhood I was so confused, so depressed, so emotional that I asked for someone to call the police because I needed someone to talk to. Someone who at least could hear me out. So the police drove me home, and it was a young guy, and this guy was actually kind of nice, and I never got the name of him, I don't think, but he was a pretty nice guy. So he brought me home, had my parents and we talked with him, and he's like, yo, dude, okay, so your parents love you, so they're not going to do anything that will harm you. Second, you're living under their roof, so it's technically still their rules. And I guess with him saying that, something kind of clicked in me, and like saying, yeah, okay, I'll adhere to the rules. So after that, things went kind of pretty smoothly a little bit, but it didn't come smoothly as I would have hoped. But there was something later on that my mom said that kind of made me see myself differently. So one day, while I was at my parents' house, my mom is talking to my grandmother, and my mom's the best mom I could ever ask for. I didn't treat her right a lot of my time living with her or growing up, but she is the best. Shout out to my mom. But she said something to my grandmother that kind of clicked in my mind. She was talking to my grandma about me, saying how my behavior is still uncontrollable. But I heard her say something to my mom, to my grandmother, that I literally keep with me to the end of the days. He could do better. I know he can do better if he wanted to. And to hear my mom say that she didn't give up on, that she wasn't going to give up on me, and that she saw so much potential in me, something changed. I guess a lot of my life I've been searching for praise from a lot of people, searching for people to announce that to basically know me for me, basically to a word I'm looking for is escaping my mind, but I think a lot of times I was looking for people to recognize me, to uplift me, and to basically give me praise, but I never felt like I got it until that moment when my mom said, I know he can do better if he wanted to. To see that someone still had faith in me was enough to make me think, yo, this person really does care about me. She sees a lot of potential. Maybe it's time I unlocked that potential and did something with it. So yeah, that was pretty much what it was. So I stayed with my parents until I was 24, and a few weeks after I turned 24 with my family, I decided I'd give the transition home another chance. So I was allowed to move back in, and as long as I promised to adhere to the rules, I could stay. So far, it did stay. I got to stay, and instantly, well, maybe not instantly, but almost instantly, my life made a 360. I changed a lot. I told myself, I told everyone that mattered to me, and I told the landlady, I said, I'm not going to get into any fights. If someone attacks me, I will call, and I will alert the person in charge. But I'm not going to get into any fights unless my life depends on it. And so far, I have done that. I have kept to that promise. I have literally kept to that promise, and I'm not going back on it. I'm going to literally keep going forward. And so far, I have not gotten into any fights, any aggression outbursts. People have come at me. People have tried to get me to fight them, but always I've held my stance, held my ground, and kept to my promise. no fighting unless my life is in absolute danger. And so far, it's been going good. So this is where a lot of the good stuff starts to happen in my life. And it's surprising that it took me that long to actually get to it. And all it took was a little word from my mom. But excuse me. So yeah, 24 went by kind of easily actually, because without getting into any fights, without getting into any aggression. Sure, there were outbursts and there were anger and tantrums at times, but literally no fists, just voice and verbal arguments. Yeah. And so far, my life has been at 24 years of age. I had never felt so much peace in my life. I literally can remember that my life was changed, and inside of me, I felt warm, and I didn't feel like I wanted to get in trouble anymore. So I did everything I was told to do, and I literally changed. I gotta admit, all that time I was angry. A lot of my life I was angry at people, but when I chose to change my life and turn it around, I wasn't angry with anybody anymore. In fact, I didn't want to be angry. I felt so good. And yeah, sure, there were ups and downs, but as long as I didn't hurt anyone, I felt so much better. And following the rules, I felt a lot better. So that's what happened in year 24. A lot didn't really happen, actually. A lot of pinnacle events did not happen, really. It was more like basically, it was all chill. Nothing happened. Nothing went wrong. So a lot of that pinnacle stuff was basically based off of aggression stuff. It died down. And a lot of pinnacle stuff that happened to me was positive. But unfortunately, I don't have anything that's basically worth noting, except the fact that I changed a lot. So age 25, I got to 25 years old. Same things happened. Same routine. No aggression, no acts of violence. Everything was fine. Now there were some pinnacle events, like some things did happen that were not my fault, but still I had to suffer because other people made it happen. And I know that sounds a little over exaggerating, seeing how a lot of you may know that my past was full of aggression, but I'm gonna explain it, and you guys may or may not agree, but yeah, it's basically. So in a transitional house, a lot of people come and go, and this one person who I had previously known in a lot of different places, more than a different place, she came to stay. But the thing was, she was an older woman. But the thing was, she did not like following rules. She thought she was so pure and thought that everybody was just a devil, basically. But in actuality, her behavior and her judgmental and egotistical and vanity, basically caused her to be the opposite of what she thought she was. She was always self-righteous. Well, when she didn't really have reasons to be righteous, because she literally would accuse people of things that they didn't do. She would torment people and say she was doing it because God told her to do. And yeah, so basically we had a pure demon in our house at that time. So that was early 25 years age. Something happened though. So when we got a house manager to help out a little, things got worse and worse with this woman. And she was always calling the police for no reason, because she was like saying, oh, they don't do what I want them to do. And the police would look at her and say, you really, ma'am, this is not, they're not supposed to do anything for you. This is an independent transitional home. Everyone's independent for themselves. But one day she called the police, gave them a whole sob story, and I was asked to tell the police what to do. I was selected to tell the police, inform them what was going on, and to tell them there was no problem. But I'm sure you guys know that some cops are not good at their job. So these cops try to break into the house without a warrant. And they, as me being the one who was informing them, they say, put your hands in the air, put your hands behind your head, we're taking you in. And I'm not saying, officers, there's no reason why you should take me in. I back up, I'm like, officers, I don't even know why I'm being arrested, so there's no reason why you have to arrest me. Why are you arresting me? Because I'm not really doing anything. I'm not doing anything at all. So I back up, and they try to get me on the ground and say, officers, I know my rights. I'm not getting on the ground because this is basically bullcrap. You're arresting me for something that is not even valid, and you don't have a warrant for arrest, and you don't have a warrant to investigate. So why are you trying to come at me? So I back up, but they tase me. They taser me. I don't know why. I guess cops sometimes want to be dumbasses and basically cause hurt and pain because they got a badge and a gun. And sometimes cops think they can do whatever they want. So they kind of hog-tie me on the ground. And surprisingly, I could have fought back. And yeah, I did struggle a bit. I could have hurt them if I wanted to, but at the same time, I'm like, this is gonna be okay. So they take me to the car, and for the first time in my life, I pray. I pray to God, and I say, God, you know what happened. You know if I'm wrong or not. So if it's your will, please get me out of this situation. Please let me come back home. Please let everything be okay. So the first night I stay in the cell, I stay in jail. And the second day comes along, and I call my dad. And he had talked to the landlady and said, she said you didn't do anything. She said you didn't do anything wrong, and that you actually were in the right this time, and the cops were in the wrong. So it took my dad a few days to get off because he was working, so I had to stay in jail for at least 3 days. And by the time the weekend came, he picked me up and brought me back home. And I was in no kind of trouble. My dad even said they should have had a warrant. They didn't have the right to do that. It wasn't until a few months later that I had to go to virtual court. But I kind of made the stupidest mistake ever because I decided I was going to plead not guilty. But then they had the probation call me and say, hey, if you plead guilty, you'll have just community service in this. So I said, okay, fine, I'll think about it. I didn't say I'd think about it, but I'll say, okay, I'll think. So they get me back into the front of the judge on virtual, and she asked, do you want to plead guilty? How do you plead? I said, I plead not guilty. She's like, you plead not guilty? I said, yes. She looked at me some way, and she's like, I'm not thinking. All I think in the back of my mind, did I do something wrong? Okay, because I'm pleading not guilty, but you're all looking at me like I'm crazy. So, stupidly enough, I got kind of freaked out, like saying, "What did I do? What did I do? What did I do?" I said, "You know what? I plead guilty." And oh Lord, that was the dumbest mistake I ever made. But it's over, so I'm like, okay, note to self: don't do that again. Don't tell if you did nothing wrong. Don't tell a judge you want to plead guilty. So yeah, that was the roller coaster ride of my life in age 25. But all the while, I still felt peace because I know I wasn't going to get into any more fights. I know I was going to do better, and I know I was doing better. Even people in my life had told me I was doing better. And as 25 went through, I got better and better. my life was filled with peace. I didn't have to feel like I had to fight anyone anymore. And a lot of times, yeah, things did happen. I still got into arguments, but who doesn't? And still, my life was better than it was before. A lot better. A whole lot better. So I can't remember if I was on 24 or 25. I think, yeah, that was 25. Okay, yeah. Okay, so yeah, and now here I am, 26, and apparently I got this. I graduated school when I was 25. I'm now getting into vocational rehab. I'm about to in May gonna apply for college. Gonna take up media production and applied science as an associate degree. And yeah, life is going good right now. I got myself in a pretty good situation. And I want to thank you guys for listening to this web series, to watching this web series, to watching my channel in general. Because a lot of this is because I want to do well with my life and have a media production set, a studio basically. And I know this is from the comfort of my room. It's not a studio, but it's a start. It's a start in the right direction, a step in the right direction. And I want to thank you guys for supporting me and for watching this video with me. And for being there with me every step of the way. It was an honor to do this web series. It was a pleasure to do this web series. And I hope you guys take what you can from it and learn from it. I hope you guys learn from this web series and learn that even though we fuck up, majorly fuck up, it's never too late to start over. Yes, we may not get back the time we want from when we start over too late, when we start off at a later point, but know that it's never too late to start over. I've come from a long road. I've taken a long journey to get where I'm at. And quite frankly, it's been worth it. There's been things that I would rather do over again, but hey, I can't. It doesn't matter what happened in the past. We can't change. But it's how we get through going forward that matters. You can only focus on your actions and not the outcome. So that's what I've learned a lot in my life. That if you really want to unlock that potential, you gotta see it for yourself. And the world may seem to be against you. The world may seem to not love you. But honestly, that doesn't matter. Prove the world wrong. Show the world what you can really be, who you can be, who you really are. And along this road, I've learned that. I've learned it the hard way, but I've learned. And quite frankly, I'm ready to take the next step to my adventure. My journey's only begun. Your journey's only begun too. Trust me, I know. You can do better if you choose to. That's real. Whew. And there we have it. Season 1 of The Boy with a Mind of His Own. It was a pleasure to do this web series video with you guys. Again, I hope you guys take what you can from it, learn, and grow with it as well. And hope you guys enjoyed it. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, if there's a season 2, it's going to be a long later down the road. I'm probably going to have to wait for another few years to do another season 2. Maybe I'll do one when I'm like in college or out of college. I don't know. Depends. But yeah. So yeah, by that time season 2 comes out, who knows? Maybe I'll be a YouTube media sensation. Maybe I'll have my own studio. But hey, it's been a pleasure doing this. I hope you guys like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. I hope you guys had a great time doing this web series with me. And I hope you guys have another great year for yourselves. And remember, be safe. Okay, hold up. Remember, be kind, be safe, be swell. Peace.